Hi everyone, welcome back to another exciting video. Today I am so thrilled to be doing this video. We're doing a reading vlog of Sunrise on the Reaping. Oh my god, by Suzanne Collins, of course, our queen. I am so excited about this book. It's not even funny. If you've been watching my videos, you should know already that I am the biggest Hunger Games fans. I read the books when I was like 13, 14, somewhere around that time. I'm 25 now. Those books I love, read them multiple times. The movies are like my comfort movies. I rewatch them every year. Biggest fan ever. I fell in love with the series because of the dystopian and the thrill and the adventure and the darkness that came with the story. And as I grew up, I started falling in love more and more for not just the world and the characters, but for the messaging, for the social structure, the political structure, for what it says about our own society. So of course we have a new book and we have Haymitch's story. In case you don't know, The Hunger Games, somehow living under a rock, The Hunger Games is a dystopian YA novel series. It's a trilogy. This is a prequel set to the Hunger Games books. We've received a prequel before, The Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes, which is also something I have reviewed on my channel before. Both the book and the movie, loved that as well. Now we're getting another prequel. This is Haymitch's story. If you guys remember, Haymitch is a fan favorite, one of my favorites as well. And he participated in the 50th Hunger Games, which was a quarter quell. And we know a little bit about his story already through the Hunger Games books, but this is a deeper dive, I think, into his story. Super excited, especially because Suzanne Collins obviously is so good at political commentary. She's so good at writing thrills. She's so good at writing twists. She's so good at writing character. Everything. She's such a full package author. And especially the fact that we all know that Suzanne Collins only puts out her books when she has something to say regarding the way our society is functioning. And to be putting this book out at a time like this, I feel like she might have come to cook, but we'll see. Also, can we talk about the way this book was announced? Can you imagine the absolute icon you have to be to have a movie deal signed and ready to go before you even released the book? Before the public even knows there's a book to be released, to announce the book and the movie at the same time. Oh my god, no one does it like her. This is, yeah, I've been waiting for it ever since the news came out. Finally have it in my hands and I have the hardcover and it's so pretty. Honestly, the colors, bang on. I love the purple, matched my eyes to it. We have a quote in the back that says, when you've been set up to lose everything you love, what is there left to fight for? And then mine is the first print edition, by the way, which, and this is the cover. We have the foiling on top. Love that it matches my the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes copy really well. So makes me happy. The book starts off with 4 quotes. Oh my god, the first quote is by George Orwell. I just read 1984 last month, so this is exciting. And part 1, the birthday. And just so you know, this will be a spoiler filled vlog, so I will be discussing everything, all my thoughts, all my opinions, all the plot lines. So if you haven't read the book, you might want to check out right now and come back once you've read the book. But if you have read the book, let's get into it together. All the spoilers, all its glory. I'm so excited. I know I've been seeing a little bit about how everyone is crying while reading the book, especially in the first couple of chapters. I don't know what could possibly get people to be crying this early on, but we'll see. As of now, let's start reading. Page 5, it says that he's not a drinker. Haymitch is not a drinker, and it's like he became an alcoholic because of what he went through in the games. And it makes sense that that's why he's an alcoholic, but like to see him say, though I'm not a drinker myself, I'm glad to get the bottle, to the Haymitch that we know, man. Hattie, the girl from the hop that he works for, the woman from the hop that he works for, asked him, oh, enough of that, you still sparking that cubby girl? And he says, I'm sure trying. So his girlfriend, Lenore Dove, is a cubby. Bro, I don't want to be drawing connections every second line, but Lenore's name, he says, she tends to take a dark view of things, but maybe that's to be expected from someone named for a dead girl. Well, half for the dead girl called Lenore in this old poem, and half for a shade of grey. The Lucy poem talked about the disappearing girl, Lucy, and then Lucy Gray, bed, and then Lenore. Am I gonna be drawing connections like every paragraph in this book? Because that's gonna be a lot of yapping for you guys. Again, I don't wanna stop every 2 lines, but like, I just think it's so interesting how Lucy Gray and her family obviously used to go beyond the fence. Back then was different. Hamish also crosses the fence all the time, and Katniss also used to cross the fence all the time. Like the parallels between all our Victors. And then he became friends with Lenore's cousin first, and we get a section where like he's talking about the first time they met, and the friend booktok like sang a song, and the Mockingjay started repeating it, and he says, I knew they'd sing for other birds, but I'd never heard them sing for a person before. Like all of these connections. 1 second. It says here that Lenore, she wasn't one of Burdock's Everdeen cousins. Listen, I know this book is about Hamish, but I'm getting really interested in Lenore. Like it says over here like all the Kavi music was in her blood, but not like them too. Less interested in pretty melodies, more in dangerous words. The kind that led to rebel acts. She was arrested twice for rebelling. Interesting. And it also makes sense that people would have tried to rebel before Katniss's entire revolution happened, right? And also, I don't know why I expected his girlfriend to be like sweet and soft, but she seems kind of feisty and rebellious, which is nice. I want to know more about her. So wait, I'm also remembering. His girlfriend dies, right? Oh, for fuck's sake. The song that she's singing, they hang the man and flog the woman who steals the goose from off the common, yet let the greater villain loose that steals the common from the goose. The law demands that we atone when we take things we do not own, but leaves the lords and ladies fine who take things that are yours and mine. That applies to our society. You guys, I think Lenore was written based off of me. Oh my god, he's talking about Katniss's mom. He's about to have a conversation with Katniss's mom. Oh my god. Oh my god, Peter's dad, Otto Millark. We're seeing him here? Oh my god. Plutarch is here. What the hell is Hamish's reaping? Oh my god. Why is this so much more heartbreaking than if his name had just been drawn out? Like he was never meant to be the tribute. Dude, this line, when Lenore finally cries from him and it's just between them, and he says, the moment our hearts shattered, it belongs to us. The capital can't have it. Bro, what? This is only the second chapter. What is the writing in this book? One of the tributes along with Hamish is Luella, who's a young girl, she's 13, and he envisions like, if I had a little sister, I'd want her to be just like Luella, and he calls her sweetheart. Oh my god, is that why he calls Katniss sweetheart? I don't know. Anyway, he's saying now of course the chances of growing up are nil. She's frozen forever at 13. That line hit me so hard. She's still alive, but she's frozen forever at 13. Bro, what is this writing? I'm starting to wonder why Plutarch is with them. Is he their mentor? Is that why Plutarch and Hamish are maybe sort of friends? And that's how the revolution builds up eventually, if they do become friends in this book. It explains so much about the OG Hunger Games. You guys, I fell asleep because I've had a long day. Woke up a while ago, got back to reading. Macy Lee had the Mockingjay pin. Is that the original Mockingjay pin that Macy Lee had? Oh my god. There's a passage in here that's very interesting. They have these no peace, no prosperity signs all over District 12, and Hamish reaches the capital and he sees those similar signs are at the capital as well, but it's catered more towards the capital people and changed a little bit. And he says, seems the capital has to convince its own citizens too. And I don't know why, it struck me as really interesting. It's like a clear reflection of how the government is not only manipulating the people that it's oppressing to keep them, but it's also manipulating its own people, its own population, its own supporters as well. and they don't even realize it. Like, they're supposed to be the bad guys, but they're just as manipulated by the people running the show, and they don't even see it. Luella is dead? Bro, opening night, they haven't even entered the arena and she's, oh my god. Chapter 6 opening, the symbolism of the dead Mockingjay with Lenore, comparing the Mockingjay to Luella. The significance of that, President Snow has come into the picture. This entrance of Haymitch carrying Luella and now seeing President Snow in the eye. And it's wild because now that we've read the Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes, to see President Snow now, having been in his head, I wonder what's gonna happen next. Haymitch is putting on quite the performance. He's really giving the middle finger to Snow, and I expect nothing less. Virus was Haymitch's mentor? Bro. And Mags? Oh my god. He had Virus and Mags as his mentors. Haymitch is crying and he says, and while Lenore Dove will forever be my true love, Luella is my one and only sweetheart. Oh my god, and he calls Katniss sweetheart. Bro. Taking off my makeup, heading for my nightly shower, but I just wanted to point out that I've been wearing my Mockingjay pin all day. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm very proud of it. Just wanted to point that out. Okay guys, I'm showered and I'm getting ready for bed. I'm gonna read a little bit. Ignore the pimple cream and everything. It's my night routine, alright? But I want to say, I just read the section where like they're forming their alliance and they're discussing what they're gonna do and stuff like that, and they're bonding, and it's really warm to read about until you remember the fact that you know how the games end, you know Haymitch wins, so they all die, and it's just, there's something about reading all of this, knowing that all these characters you're so deeply reading about and getting to know, they're not gonna last the book, they're all gonna die. It's so heartbreaking getting to know all of them. What hurts is that even the characters that are sort of unlikable are characters that you can still empathize with, and you understand that, you know, they're not bad people, they're a result of the system that they've been raised in. Just reading about them bonding and stuff like that, knowing that they're all gonna die at the end of this book, I don't know. Suzanne Collins. You guys, I'm just getting back to reading. It's like really late. I was too busy the entire day, only just got time to read. And I'm finding out that Ampert's dad is BT. Bro, what even?
Always felt so pretty. No one's sending postcards from the city. I've been walking downtown every day.
I'm almost 200 pages into the book. We're at the interview section, and I don't really have much to say except that I'm a Macely Donner stan. Thank you very much. Also, I just want to say, off track, but I feel like Lenore Dove and Macely Donner, I stan both of them, and I feel like a combination of them is me. Like, I relate to both of them. I feel like they're two different sides of me. So we have officially entered the games, they've started, and I think one thing that I've been continuously trying to wrap my head around is the fact that this story is not just about the games and how he survived, but it's about how a rebellion was already in place during this book. And it really makes you understand that rebellions don't happen overnight. A revolution doesn't happen overnight. It starts small and it has failures constantly before it finally gets the spark and it, before it succeeds. And clearly it took 25 years for the revolution to actually be a success, probably more than that. And I just keep thinking it's a proper revolution happening right now. Haymitch is a piece in the revolution, in the rebellion or whatever, but it clearly does not end up having the effect that they want it to. And right now I can't remember, I know it was mentioned in the second book of the Hunger Games, Catching Fire, how he won his games, but I can't really remember it right now. But all I can think is either their plan doesn't work, or it works in some way and goes under the radar. The capital finds a way to hide it, and Hamish gets punished for it, which is how he loses his family and his girlfriend. I'm also thinking about the fact that probably, you know, it failed. Their plan failed, but it was also able to set some pieces in motion for Katniss later on, for all of that to go down. And I'm trying to connect the dots here, because we know the 75th Hunger Games, Katniss's second games, is where a plan was really in place for a rebellion. They were going full out for it. And right now there's also a plan in place. And I'm trying to figure out the exact link between the two and how we got from this point to that point. And also, the more I'm reading about this book, the more I never felt like this before, but after reading this, I keep wondering, like, I would love to get to know the perspective of, like, in Catching Fire, we were in Katniss's head, but I would love to see what was going on behind the scenes with everyone else as they were planning the rebellion around her, and how all of that went down. That would have been really interesting to see as well, now that I'm reading this. Wyatt is dead. Oh my god. I don't know why I was not expecting to see him die this soon. But of course, I shouldn't expect the 12s to not die soon just because they're 12. Ampert's death. Dude. Wow. The fact that we didn't even know BT had a son. And the way that he died is so inhuman. Now I'm just gonna read on and see if they actually broke the arena. I'm just so confused from what we know. Like, now I'm not confused, but did they actually manage to break the arena or not? Because there were no signs of it from what Katniss and Peeta knew when they watched his tape, right? What happens next? Time for a little update. I'm on page 280, so I have this much of the book left. So far, the story has slowed down a little bit. Not necessarily slowed down, but there's nothing like significant happening. When shit has been going down as it does in the arena. But yeah, I'm not particularly like feeling anything. I don't have any particular thoughts right now. I'm just following the plot and seeing where it goes. You guys, Macy Lee just quoted a line from the song Nothing You Can Take From Me, from the Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes, and she says her grandma used to say this to her. Who's her grandmom? Who could be her grandmom? I don't understand. They've reached the cliff's edge, and I'm now remembering how Hamish won his games. I think it was like one of the tribute threw something and it bounced back and killed the tribute, and that's how he won, or something along those lines. It happened by mistake. Is that Macy Lee? Is that what happens? Oh god. Oh god. He's watching Lucy Gray's games when she sang the song. I'm a little confused as to what's going on now. Like, the games ended, Hamish won, but what we didn't see in Catching Fire is that he won, but at the same time he threw the bomb into the canyon, and clearly something bad must have gone down, right? We didn't really get to see what happens after he throws the bomb. He almost dies, but then they save him, and now they're like keeping him captive in the house that he was in before the games, and he's alone there, and he's clearly out of it. And on the TV they're playing clips of the old Hunger Games, and he's watching Lucy's interview tape. Where is this going? What's happening? Hamish just made the connection that President Snow knew the girl who won the Hunger Games, Lucy Gray. Okay, so Hamish has been crowned victor by Snow now. We just saw the entire recap of the Hunger Games, and once again it's reinstating just how much edited propaganda works, how it works, how twisted it can be. Wow, okay, this is all I have left. I have a couple of chapters left at most. Let's try to finish this and then I think I'll give my final thoughts. Hamish is thinking of the Hanging Tree song. Is that we're at the funeral of his mom and his brother, and Burdock is singing a song that the old there before. He's singing the song. I literally have chills right now. The way she's intertwined all the music in this book, and they're doing the I'm on page 361 where Hamish is debating if he and Lenore Duff should run away, and I just think it's very interesting how each of our District 12 victors have had the urge to run away from District 12. Lenore Duff and Hamish are finally meeting. She just picked up a bag of candy. Oh god, I have a bad feeling about this. I was right. The candies. Oh god. Oh god, he fed her the candy. He was the one who fed her the candy. He's lost everything. Everything. Oh my god. Oh god, Burdock is taking Hamish to the Covey's graveyard. Maud Clare. Lucy Gray. You guys, Plutarch has taken Hamish to an attic in District 11, and he says that this is the only spot in the entire Justice building that isn't bugged, and that's the same attic Hamish took Katniss and Peter to during their victory tour. Oh my god, that's how he knows the spot, and like everything's connected. Reading this last chapter and seeing everything he's had to go through is genuinely so sad and depressing. Like, you know the tributes suffer and you know the victors have trauma to last a lifetime, but my god, this last page. And now we have the epilogue. I don't know what could possibly be in here. Let's get into it. Oh my god, I think is the epilogue with Katniss. He's saying, I first saw the girl at the hop when she was just a baby. Burdock was so proud of her. He toted her around everywhere. Oh my god. He's saying that Katniss used to remind her of Luella McCoy, her sweetheart. I didn't want to let them in, her and Peter, but the walls of a person's hearts are not impregnable. Not if they have ever known love. That's what Lenore Duff says anyway. This is about when, like, you know, the capital has been defeated. And he's saying, I'm not sure I'll be here in the old there before much longer. My liver's wrecked and I only drive out when the train's late. And that's the end of the book. Woo! Okay, give me a minute. We'll wrap up our final thoughts in a second. Hi everyone, I am just now realizing while editing the video that I never actually gave you my final thoughts. Are we surprised? Probably not. I am still waiting for the day I actually wrap up my reading vlogs on time. Hopefully one day, but today is not that day. But anyway, final thoughts. I loved the propaganda messaging in this book. It was, I think, the most obvious out of all the books that she's done so far, and I get it. I get why. Loved all of that. I think my favorite thing to come out of this was the understanding that I think a lot of times, even right now, sometimes people get into the idea of like, what is the point of the rebellious effort? Obviously, like us, like especially like sometimes I have conversations with friends and they'll be like, us posting about this on our Instagram or us like talking to just each other about this is not gonna bring about a change. But it can. Things can bring a change. You never know how the smallest thing can act like a butterfly effect for later in the future, probably not during our time. It probably might not happen during our time, but our efforts can pay off in small ways to create a bigger momentum in the future. And that's why active participation is important regardless. Even if you think it's not going to work out or it feels hopeless in the moment, it could lead to something bigger in the future. I also just love seeing how their lives were so intertwined. Like, if you think you know everything from just the Hunger Games. You read this book and you realize, oh my god, the chain reaction is so much bigger than we thought we knew, especially between like Lucy Gray, Lenore Duff, and then Katniss. It's also just, the more I sit with it, the more you realize that none of the 12 winners, none of the 12 victors barring Peter, were actually picked. None of them were actually reaped. It's insane. And to add to that, the parallel between the fact that Katniss went through all of that during the games and after just so she could save Prim, and ended up not being able to save her despite everything she went through. And Haymitch, the only reason he got reaped is because he was trying to protect Lenore Duff, and then he went through all of that and he couldn't save her either. Like, they both went through all this just to lose the very people that they tried to protect from the very beginning. And that also brings me to the idea that Katniss is Haymitch but luckier, and that is emphasized in the book as well, that Katniss was Haymitch. Katniss was the exact spark that Haymitch was supposed to be, but she was just luckier. The fact that the idea that Haymitch was the one who fed the poisoned candy to Lenore Duff, and that's how she died, and the parallel between like Peeta and Katniss with the nightlock berries, but she was luckier because she was able to prevent it from happening. Just, I also love how Lucy Gray haunts the narrative throughout. Like, all this time we had no idea, but she's been haunting the narrative throughout, and I'm here for it. I also, seeing Virus and Mags and the lovely ladies that they were in this book, and the torture they had to go through, and then they became the women that they became. Still lovely ladies, but the women that they became, we saw them in Catching Fire, and we knew that this is who they were. And to see why they are the way they are because of what they went through in this book, it all started here. Another parallel between Haymitch trying to blow up the arena and Katniss actually managing to do so in Catching Fire. Once again, that luckier thing, oh my god. Yeah, just so many things to reflect on, to understand. So many things. I feel like every single detail we got in this book was so important and so nice to have. You know, sometimes I think like with prequel books, I'm like, there's only so much you can tell us. There's only so exciting it can be because we know what the end result is. We've seen it happen already, and yet to come out of a book fulfilled. So happy, honestly. Like, it was a devastating read, but so fun. Really looking forward to the movie. I love every single Hunger Games movie. I've said this before, they're my comfort movies, so I honestly cannot wait. The casting has been coming out and it looks to be on point. I'm very happy with the casting, so can't wait for the movie that comes out next year. But yeah, that's it for all my thoughts for Sunrise on the Reaping. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Like, let me know what other parallels you guys noticed, what you thought of it. Did you cry? So yeah, let me know what you thought, and yeah, like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.